Hello guys, and welcome to this video with me, Coach Reese. How you all doing? I hope you're doing really well. So in today's video we're going to think about football data, football stats, and how we can use them to get the best out of them. As always, timestamps and chapters are below, so let's get started. We're now in a position with football and with data where we have access to pretty much all the information that we could possibly want around players, teams, coaches, and it's really great. But how do we get the most out of that information? Well, probably the most important thing when it comes to stats and data is we always try and have context. So by that we're thinking of data as part of the story, but not the whole story. So a really good way to use stats and data is to use them alongside observations. So we might make an observation first during a game. So for example, Team A have lots of shots, but they're from awkward angles or from quite a distance, and the team are not necessarily producing high quality chances. So we've made our observation, and now we can turn to the data to help us justify that or back it up. And if we're thinking about quality of chances, we can turn to the expected goal stat. So we've made our observation during the game and we've backed it up with data and with the stat. So now we have both pieces of information. And by making the observation and using the stats and the data to support our observation, it can give us the full picture. Because stats in isolation can be very misleading. We need to make sure that when we're using stats, we're using them alongside our observations of the game and potentially any more information that we may have available. So we're going to take a look at an example. And player A is a central midfielder. And player A plays 100 passes a game. And if we look at that stat in isolation, that sounds really great. We've got a central midfielder who's on the ball quite a lot. They might be controlling the game, dictating the game. But we don't actually know. All we've got is a stat that says player A plays a lot of passes. When we look further into that stat and we look at all the information we've got available, we notice that actually player A is playing 98 passes backwards, which means only 2 out of the 100 that they play are being progressive. Now we've got a stat there that doesn't sound quite as good. So now we need to observe player A during a game and try and understand why 98 passes are going backwards and only 2 are going forward. And what we notice is player A always receives in front of pressure. So when they receive it, they've got a player pressing behind them. So the chances of their pass going forward are actually quite low. So they're more likely to play backwards. And with all the information, so we know that they're playing lots of passes, so they're getting on the ball quite a lot, but a lot of them are going backwards, and we've now made an observation of how that player is involved in the game. We can now use that information to better support that player. We might introduce a development plan, or we might just work on it with them in training. Might be a case of we just have to get that player trying to receive on the back foot behind the line of pressure. So we've used data initially to get our focus, our observation topic in the game. We've made our observation during the game, we've understood why this is happening, and we've then decided how we're going to fix that for the player. And this can be the same for any stat. So expected goals, we notice that our team are having a high expected goals but only returning a low number of actual goals. And it might be simply a case of we make an observation during the game and actually our striker isn't taking a lot of these chances, the higher quality chances that we're creating. And that's the best way to use stats. We need to use stats alongside our observations of the game and any information that we might have available alongside stats. So all three go together. Once we've got all three, we've got our stats, we've got our observations of the game, and we've got any potential information that we may have. we've then built up a really great picture of what we're trying to see. I've been Coach Reese. As always, I hope you've enjoyed the video, hope you found it useful. If you did, remember to like, comment and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.